Bill, and you know something? Even after it's made out, I can't understand it. The whole income tax started in the Constitution with 16 words in the amendment. Now it takes a 57-foot-long shelf to hold all the tax books that have to do with all the rules and regulations of the income tax. So I just want to, before concluding, I just wanted to speak to you about something from the International, or the Internal Revenue Code. It is the last sentence of Section 509A of the Code. And it reads, for purposes of paragraph 3, an organization described in paragraph 2 shall be deemed to include an organization described in section 501C4, 5, or 6, which would be described in paragraph 2 if it were an organization described in section 501C3.
In this segment, a group of high school and college students volunteer to discuss and share personal experiences related to today's topic.
I definitely believe that stealing is wrong in any case, regardless of what it's for. You know, when I've been stolen from, it's like I've had a lot of people steal some money, you know, and $5 isn't that big of a deal if you're really hard up for it. But you know, when people come and they take a bunch of money, they're looking out for themselves. But what happens to me when I'm the one without the money? That might have been my rent money or my food money. And
I've stolen before, and I've been stolen from, and I know that it is wrong, and there's no right form of stealing. I mean, maybe sometimes people who are poor, who need to steal to live, you know, but people like us, we have no excuse to steal. And I used to pretty much be a klepto, and I'd walk into 7-Eleven and I'd see gum. I wouldn't even want the gum, and I'd just take it, you know, and it got to the point where it became really bad, and I was doing all sorts of stuff. I was just getting into bad stuff, and I stole maybe 4 or 5 microphones from a Radio Shack. And this year, I've made an oath to myself that I'm never going to steal again, anything, no matter what, gum, anything from anyone.
Yeah, that's the way it starts, man. You start out small, and you're like, well, if I can steal gum, why can't I steal, you know, something else? And then, like you say, it gets to, you know, a microphone, keeps getting bigger and bigger. Then I know for me, you know, I've stolen before, and it just gets to a point where, like, I don't need to steal anymore. You know, I can purchase it, and you know, it feels better inside.
You feel good about it.
Yeah, you feel good about it. You're like, I didn't have to steal it. You know, I'm doing something. I'm making money. It feels good. You know, just go ahead and purchase it, and it has a better feeling in you, and there's no guilt. And, you know, you're good overall.
The Word of God states, "Thou shalt not steal."
The popular tendency is to consider property to be those tangible physical items which one owns. A house, car, clothes. This is a lopsided materialistic viewpoint. James Madison, United States President and founder, defined property. A man's land or merchandise or money is called his property. But a man has property in his opinions and the free communication of them. He has a property of peculiar value in his religious opinions and the profession and practice dictated by them. He has an equal property in the free use of his faculties and free choice of the objects on which to employ them. In a word, as a man is said to have a right to his property, he may be equally said to have a property in his rights. So there are 2 basic forms of property, internal and external. Internal property includes a person's heart, his conscience, ideas, opinions, skills, and religious convictions. External property includes that which a person owns, which is material and tangible. With the right of property, whether external or internal, comes the freedom for an individual to employ his property in any way he seems fit under the umbrella of the moral rule of law given by God. If the government excessively taxes an individual, the government is stealing property from that individual, which the Holy Bible declares was entrusted to him by God through that individual's labor.
Money is power. Money in your hands is power in you. In the hands of the government, it gives the government power over you. Governments never use unlimited money for good. They quickly converted to unlimited power, and unlimited power in any government is oppression for all. T. Coleman Andrews, Commissioner of Internal Revenue Service under President Truman.
If the government forbids an individual to practice his religious convictions, this not only violates his freedom of religion, but also steals from that individual the ability to employ his internal property. And that which violates an individual's property violates the individual. Enemies of private property have always been thieves, robbers, burglars, forgers, extortioners, criminals, etc. Today, added to the enemies list are those that work for separation of church and state, which violate the right of an individual to employ his internal property and infringe upon his God-given freedom of religion. Also added to the enemies list are radical environmentalists, socialists, and communists who favor the confiscation of private property and private enterprise, which violates a God-given right of property.
First plank of the Communist Manifesto, abolition of property in land and application of all rents of land to public purposes.